Hi everyone, my name is Adolfo Quesada-Román. I'm a researcher and university professor in the University of Costa Rica in the Department or School of Geography. I'm going to present today this presentation related to flood risk calculation in developing countries. The objectives or aims of this research were related to the calculation of the highest flood hazard exposure and vulnerability municipalities in Central America related only with floods, which is one of the main hazards and disasters in Central America. We wanted in this research to calculate the highest flood risk using municipality data, and then we wanted to extrapolate it to different catchments in Central America. So basically, we had information related to the municipalities, then we extrapolated to the different catchments in Central America using, as you can see here in this diagram, 4 countries. We use information from Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Panama. We first calculated the hazard. We used the flooded areas, which were normally the different institutions of disaster risk reduction. They have official flood areas in every country. We use that information. Also, we use the flood records with a disaster database called Desinventar. This database is from the UN, previously used from different institutions here in Central America, Latin America. We made a combination of this information and then we calculated the hazard level of every municipality in these countries, and then we extrapolated to the different catchments, official catchments in the country. For the calculation of the exposure, we use population density and the road density. We use many information from satellite data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning using satellite information, and then the extrapolation to the known infrastructure in land. So they combine population data with satellite information. For the vulnerability, we use the Human Developing Index, which is common in all these 4 countries. Then we merge this information, we exponentiate this information to 0.3 to make analysis and normalization from 0 to 1, and then we extract all this information by municipality and we extrapolate it to catchment. All the catchments in this area, these 4 countries, represent a very good picture of the situation in Central America. Then we could understand the high risk for flooding both in municipalities and in catchments. As you can see here, the results, we had 37 catchments classified as flood risk, 6 in Honduras, 13 in El Salvador, 4 in Costa Rica, and 14 in Panama. As you can see here in these maps, in El Salvador, in this number 1, we had mostly the very urban, very high, dense municipalities, and obviously those catchments were the most affected in El Salvador. In the case of Honduras, related to in Tegucigalpa and in big cities as San Pedro Sula, there were concentrated the main impacts. In the case of Costa Rica, the ones in large catchments and in big municipalities were the most affected. In the case of Panama, many in urban areas or very flat areas. As conclusions, the most affected catchments and municipalities were identified. Many of them, the most affected ones are in El Salvador and in Honduras, and in Costa Rica, the Tárcoles one. Those catchments are related to high densities, related to the capitals of these countries, and this methodology is very practical to be replicated in other countries with scarcity of information, and this information can be used for decision making and to prepare better maps and better early warning systems. Thank you very much for your time. This is my email, and you can contact me. Feel free to contact me and to write me. Thank you very much.